Just a second. I'll just refresh this part. Even my compiler is taking so long to reload. Guys, you are open to use any remix ID. I'm telling you again, there was some issues and some responses where they're using the versions which are before before 0.5. Please try to avoid those contracts. I mean, you can change make changes according to the version, to the latest version. I can use that, but don't change your compiler version to 0.4 less than 0.5. Is that clear to everyone, guys? Cool. So I hope yesterday you have a great learning experience in exploring yourself of how you all need to write a contract. Today you'll have a much more interesting assignment. Yes, at the end of the class I'll let you know, guys. Clear? Is that clear to everyone? Cool. So done, guys. Our compiler has been loading. There's no issue in that. So now I'll just let you know, guys, how the mapping, how the flow, what is the structure and what is the flow of our contract. Is everyone is clear to everyone, right? Cool. Guys, sorry for that. I mean, there are some issues like a technical issues from my side. That's the reason we're getting a delay. Okay, don't worry about that. I'll just cope up with that. So now we'll just move. As I told before, we are writing the contract where we'll store the student details like name and his age to one of the addresses. To our address, so that when we call that address, we'll get that data. So now, what we are doing here, the first and foremost thing, first we have to do declare the contract. Next, guys, I'm telling you again, if you have any doubt, please raise your hands and ask me here only, okay? Because this is the functionality you have to use in your smart contract. I mean, in the capstone project, that may be a little bit bigger, but the logic will be like same. Is it clear, guys? Cool. Thanks for that, but I'll just change that. Cool. Is it sorry, I even forgot my contract name. Is it done? Thanks for that. Cool. Now, what exactly we are doing in this contract? See, guys, it's a very interesting contract where the functional all the functionality yesterday you were mentioned are lies here. Okay, so try to be more attentive now. Always, please raise your hands if you have doubts anywhere. So the first and foremost, what exactly we are doing here? So we are declaring, I mean, we are creating a structure for the student with the name student, so that with a string name and unsigned integer age. Unsigned integer is nothing but the numbers. Okay, the integer numbers we can give. Is that clear, guys? So what we are telling the contract is we have a structure of a student where we need to store the name and the age. So whenever we call the student, we have to return these values. Is that clear, guys? So next, what creating a student is done. I mean, we can create a student, we can create a number of students. That's not the problem. But unsigned 8 is nothing but the 8-bit integer. I mean, the storage value where you can store only the 8-bit value of a integer. Okay, we have a 18, 16 in 256-bit, unsigned 256-bit. So what the main part is, why we are using the unsigned int 8 is, so the gas fees for using the unsigned attribute may changes according to the unsigned 8-bit, the space it gives to the integer. So what the main reason is, if your contract requires only the unsigned int 8 space for all the integers you have on the contract, like for the data variable, you can use that. Because suppose if your data bit is 8, I mean the storage required for the 8 bits. Now if you are using the 256 bit, then the remaining space is wasted. So always so that's the reason we use unsigned 8, so that we'll just decrease the I mean, we are just limiting the excess use of the storage, and we are decreasing the gas cost. Thanks, very good question, Venkata Shesasai. Yeah, that's how we need to think in a developer perspectives. Okay, why, how we can reduce the how we can know what storage has been wasting and how efficiently we can use that again. Is that clear, Dinakara? Cool. Bhaskar, I didn't get your doubt. Cap, without cap. Okay, you're asking me that solidity version cap. Cool. Thanks for that, taking the initiative, guys. See, you can one more thing you can do is you can just mention the symbol, and you can give the contract where it takes to the 7.0 version. So the contracts which are between these versions can be deployed. Okay. Yes. That's the reason we don't use a version with below the 0.4. Most of the methods were depreciated there, and the updated methods we follow now for the more efficient contract. So there are some loopholes in contracts, so the versions will update those. Okay, and one of the loophole, thanks, you'll have those, you'll get to know at the end of this day. Thanks for that, you'll get to know why we have updated versions, why use the updated versions in the contract, why they are all depreciated. Is that clear? Cool. Now we have declared, we have I'll just a little bit fast, guys. We have a structure, we have we have declared the name, age to a student. Now what we need to do, as I have told before, that whenever I call the address of that student of the data which is stored, I need to return that data. So what we can do? We can do in a contract, in a Solidity contract, we have a mapping where we can map the data to an address like this is a key. Okay. In a mapping, the structure is like this is a key. To the key, we are assigning a value. To that value, we are telling that it's public, or only mention if it's public, or else remove that it's a private thing. Okay. And cool, but yeah, exactly. In our contract, it's like a hash mapping. It's like a hash array where we do that. Okay. And now what we are doing, we are storing every details in a students. Okay. We are calling that here. We are telling that we are calling that here. We are telling that all the mapping we do to an address, and to that address we will assign the student values from the student. Is that clear? You will get to know about this, why we call it here, why we are telling the mapping to get the values from the students. Okay, from this variable. Don't worry about this, guys. As we move to the down functions, you will get to know that. Okay, so as of now, what is the structure of the mapping? It's always remember, we will assign value to the key. Okay, this is the meaning of that. We are assigning the value to the key. That's why use those symbols. Okay, is that clear, guys? Cool. Now what we are doing next, we are mapping. Now we need to declare the mapping not in the functions. Okay, we need to declare the mappings in the I mean, just don't anyway, but not in the functions. Next, we are make sure that, see, I want to know if I just want to store all the addresses in an array. Okay, just giving an open array like an endless array, now not specifying anything. So when we call the students accounts, you will get the array the student details with the index number. Whenever give an index number for this array, we'll get the address of that array, so that we can retrieve the data taking that address. So to make sure that while taking that address, we can call the other details, we can know the details of the students. Okay, guys, today I wanted not showing the output, I mean the functionality, output functionality of this contract, because I want all you have to know, I think, the flow, because you need to connect the dots. In a contract, in a program, there are all dots everywhere, but we need to connect them. So that's the reason I didn't share this dot. That's the reason I'm not running the code now. Okay, try to get the dots and connect them when we need. Is that clear, guys? Cool. Have you got my point? Why I'm not running the code and why I'm not sharing? You'll get the snippet at the end of the class, but as of now you'll not get. Is that clear? Try to connect those dots, guys. Be please attentive with me. Okay. Now, okay, it's a little bit tricky to just connect those dots, but try to be more attentive. You'll get those. It's a basic, right? You know the functionality. You know the functionality of the contract. Just you need to connect those now. So now we are declaring a array where we are storing the addresses of the students account. We are calling the addresses with the students account. Done. We are done with here. Now what we are doing, event emit. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yesterday, some people have mentioned me, they have learned about event and emit. Is anyone will take an initiative and give a quick, a small, just an intro for the event and emit, what you have understood? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just a second. Cool. So, what does emit and event mean in a contract? Suppose, guys, you can see there we have a event like what the Solidity doc tells us is we have they have given some explanation for that, like a basic explanation where it's a contract which used to emit the arguments passed in that event. Like we have an argument passed in these events. Okay, we'll try to emit those. What the arguments we are passing here: address, index address, string name, and the unsigned age. So what does the event and emit will help us? Okay, after deploying the contract, okay guys, listen, the basic main functionality of event and emit is after deploying the contract, we can call externally the details which we have in the contract, like the details which we pass, the arguments which we pass to the contract. Cool, great, that is great. Okay, thanks for that, Dharanil. Now, yes, now why you use the event and emit in our contract is, so once a contract is deployed, it is deployed. So if we want to call them externally at any way, at any time till the contract is there on the blockchain, we can get the details which are the arguments which are passed into the event. Okay, event is where we are passing the arguments, emit is where we are emitting those, I mean where we are making sure that those data are emitted, triggered out. Okay, is that clear, guys? I'll just repeat those again. Guys, event and emit, in event first we'll pass the arguments, and the emit we will retrieve the arguments, I mean we trigger those arguments. But one, always remember guys, we can't use the events, I mean we can't use the arguments generated in the event and emit within the contract, not accessible, and will not even have those rights by the contract deployed person also. Okay, those are like they can only be called after the contract deployed, and we can call them externally only. Okay, we can't call the events and emit inside the contract, within the contract. And one more thing, even the contract, the even the owner of the contract can't retrieve, even call those functions or call those events inside the contract. Is that clear, guys? And one more thing, why we use the event and emit? Okay, because after deploying the contract, once the contract is deployed, we can take the contract address and the ABI. When we run those commands, we will get the automatically get the emitted like the emitted details from the event in the in the like in according to the way we are need to get the output. Okay, is that clear, guys? How many of you understood the event and emit? Please raise your hands or just tell me. More, because yeah, guys, especially you have mentioned about this issue yesterday in the response. Please try to be give a response like a if you have understood or not, because this is the place where you have to learn the things which you have problems. Okay, which you are facing issues. Okay, cool. Now we are done with the event and emit. Now we are creating a function where set info is a function name, address is the predefined argument we use to pass the address, string memory is the name we are giving, and the unsigned is an age, public returns unsigned integer. Why we are returning? Because we are returning to the why we are returning here. Can anyone see and tell me the now why we are returning unsigned int? What unsigned int we are returning? Cool, no issues, no issues. I'll just I'll just mark this as one of your question. Cool, that's great, that's great, that's great. Yes, cool. I get lot of different answers, but no issues. Mark this as your assignment, one of the assignment, guys. Just tell me why what we are returning here. Not more than that. I'll just explain the other functionalities. Now next, so now what we need to do. So as I told before, you need to store the student structure into an array, like sorry, into an all the details of the student you need to assign them to the address, so that you need to map them to the address, so that when you call the address you will get the student details. Now what is the flow here? How we are done with the mapping now? So how can we do that? Leave about that the down one. Now we are creating another variable here where we are storing the student details, like the structure details in the student. And when we are calling the argument here which we pass the parameter like a student, and we are telling that all the details of the address need to be assigned to this, all the details of the student from the structure has to be assigned to this address. Now is that clear, guys? I'll just repeat this once again. So here we are creating a variable, the students for the mapping. So we are calling that variable here and telling that I have told you before, right? This is key, this is value, and the data which there in this variable, we'll call it here. The data which is there it here, we'll call it the value here. So now what we are doing, from in the students, what are the values are there, the address will call those values accordingly. Okay, now what the address is doing, what we are doing here, we are calling the structure here, the student structure, and we are storing the, we are using the attribute where it predefined the storage to store all the details of the student in the student new variable we have created just now, so that we are passing all the details to the address. Now what we are doing exactly at the down, because we have created new storage and we are telling that all the details like we have created in the state variable, we will use the new storage variable to pass the details to the structure. Now we are passing the name to the, we can't directly pass the data to the structure, so that's the reason we have created another variable where it helps us in passing the data to the structure, directly to the structure. Student dot name is nothing but the name we have for the structure. Okay, here we are, guys, you may be a little confused here. I'm telling you again, this is the structure name like a student, and we are telling in the function that from now on we use the student new variable to store the data which we have in this function, okay, to the directly to the structure. Okay, the structure have some variables like the predefined data variables where we have a name and the age. From now, what we are doing now, we are calling the state variable name. We are assigning that name to this name. Sorry, this one. We have the state variable name and we are assigning to the structure. And the next we have the age here of that function, and we are assigning that age to the directly to the structure age here. So now the data is pushed, the data which we got is pushed to the student structure. Is that clear, guys? Cool. Now I have told you that we have created an array. See, this is the array. We have created this array so that we will store all the addresses we have. Now we are doing nothing. We are just directly pushing the address we got, I mean address we are using, to this student account. Is that clear, guys? We are directly calling the global variable here and pushing the address which we have used here to register the data. Is that clear, everyone? Done. We are done with the functionalities. We are done with the setting the info. No, we are, see, all the set info data are, we have to give, these are like the input fields. All these are input fields. We are passing those data. Okay. And after getting the data, taking the key value as an address, key as an address, and we'll pass the memory name and age to that value. I mean, all the memory and sorry, name and age to that address. Okay. No, we can't use a construct. I didn't get that. Construct. No, we can't use the constructor for that. In the functions, we can't use that constructor inside the functions. You can use above. So we are pushing the, cool. Yes, exactly. Questions, great questions. Shoot me the questions now if you have any now. Yeah, Tejas, yes, as we all know that the index, yeah, it's, no, -1 is for when we push the data, we are just removing, we are making sure that we have to store the data at 0 index. So that's the reason we'll just do a -1 to the index of that student accounts. Or like, what does that mean, Hari Krishna? I didn't get that. Yeah, see, guys, every student has to be have a unique uh, unique address, right? So that's the reason now. Yeah, great question, guys. Now, see, we have told you that Swarup Reddy, that's a good question. I'll just tell you again, guys. Listen, we have passing the, I mean, sorry, we have pushing the account address to the array. Okay, it's done. Okay, now we are storing the value like the name, age from the state variables to the structure variables to the structure here. It's done. Passing data to the structure. Pushing data to the address to the array. Now, where we are assigning the data to the, sorry, where we are assigning data to the address. Can you, anyone, can you tell me? See, we have the basic three functionalities. Like we are assigning the, we are storing the address of the student here. We are passing the input data like name and age to the structure. And one thing is left, we have to make sure to assign the data. Like when we call that address, we need to get that data. How? Cool. Cool. At this step, guys, listen, at this step, what exactly we are doing is we are storing all the values. We have seen here, like the variable we have here, like the parameter, we are storing, like this is a key, this is a value, this is where we store the data. Okay, this is a key, this is a value. So when we call this key, we get this value. Oh, sorry. When we call this key, we get this student value from the student table. Okay, so what we are storing at the two students table. In the students table, we have an array where we are storing all the data from the structure. Is that clear, guys? Now, how we will store the data we get to the specific address, and how we will retrieve them. I mean, how we will call them using the mapping. I'll just repeat this again, guys. We have a key, we have a value for the mapping, and we have a hash, like a table, parameter table, where we'll get the data from where we are storing. Now we have a address is a key, student structure is a value. Now we need to call the data from somewhere. We have the key, we have the value. Where we'll get this value? We'll get from the students. In students, what we are storing? We are storing all the students data. I mean, student, the structure of the student data we are storing, assigning to this address. In this address, like in the students, when we call the address, we'll all get this data. Is that clear, guys? To everyone? No, see, we have till now we didn't store anything to the in the student. We are assigning, we are telling the contract. See, don't link with the other languages, okay? Solidity is totally different from the other languages. Yes, we have some syntaxes, but you can't use the same syntaxes here, okay? We can't use the hexadecimal addresses, like we don't, see, Solidity smart contract is, I mean, created for the specific use, okay? We can't have the data like the message dot sender where we gets the person who deploy the contract. it's have a certain functionalities where it can do certain works. Okay, some other languages will have some other functionalities which they can do, but we can't have the same, we can't link the functionalities which other contracts do in the in this Solidity. Okay, is that clear, guys? So next we have done with the storage part. Okay, we are done with the assigning part. How we need to get that data? How we'll get that data? Now we have the get info here. We are calling the address. Guys, remember we have stored all the data to the address. So when we call that address, the address has to return the name. It returns name and the age. Okay, like where we are from, where the data is returning from the student's address. I think you'll got now. You'll get this why we have this student address here. In the student's address, we are calling the name, and from the student address with the key address, we are calling the age value. Okay. Now the total function here, we are counting the student count of the student. What is the length of the student? Like total students dot length is nothing but gives the total length of the students. Is that clear, guys, to everyone? Guys, do you have any doubts? Please ask me now. Guys, have you understood the code? Have you understood the logic? So I'll just give you a quick run what we have did in this contract. We are creating a what I'll do, I'll just run this contract and I'll just try to I'll try to show you, try to show the functionality of the contract so you'll get the easy flow. So now, guys, everyone can see this screen, right? So I've deployed the contract. What I'll do, I'll just make sure that, just a second. Yeah. Okay, let it be like a previous one. I think it is visible now, right? Guys, it's visible to everyone, right? Cool. Now, in a set function, we have our input parameters like object address, name, and the age. So in a set function set info, we have a address, name, and the age. So what we'll do, we'll just copy one of the address we have, pass it here. Oh, sorry. Pass the address here. Like consider it as a student roll number and pass the name as student1 and the age as 15. Done. We got the success. We have created the data of the students. So we'll just count the students. See what the count student does. The function count student does is how many how many students are there in that index. I mean the in other way, the length of an array. In a simple way, we are returning the length of the an array in a student count. Okay, now we need to, but how we are getting the data here? How we'll get the data? See, in the get info, when we are given an input parameter like we need to pass the address, so that from that address we'll get the data like the student one and the age. And now, and the last functionality we have, see, we didn't created any function for this. Okay, the student accounts, there is no function for the student accounts. But how we are getting this? Because for the address array, we have make it as a public. We had made it as a public. That's the reason we are getting here. Okay, if we made it as a private, I mean if we mention only the public, the smart contract considers it as a public, otherwise it thinks it as a private. Okay, so that's the reason we are getting now. Suppose pass the index number, you'll get the address. Okay, now I'll just create another student. Pass the address, like name it as a student 2, give it as a age 10, transact. Done. Now count the students. We got the count student as 2. Just paste the address here. Are we getting the details? Like yes, we are getting the details. Now we need to get the data of the student accounts, like the index value 1. Okay. Has everyone understood the functionality of this contract? Guys, the main point is you need to know the functions what we are using in this contract. Okay, how effectively they can be used, how the mapping is done. Is public address of the user input for address? Yes, I mean public address is nothing but the address is yes. Cool. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just pass some data. I mean just a random data. You'll definitely cool. What you got an error? What error you got? Error encoding the arguments invalid address argument. Because why we are getting the invalid argument here for the address? Because we have a smart contract where we have a predefined value. So we know there are some people who will definitely try to do some mess with the front end part. Like they'll never do for giving the address, they'll type in any hexadecimal number. But here we have a smart contract where will it definitely make sure that we are not going apart from anywhere. So the address is where it automatically detects the hexadecimal address only. It will not detect any address. Is that clear, guys? So we definitely need an address as an input, otherwise it will show an error. So, and one more thing, see, we have created an age. Yes, I'm just a naughty student in my school. So what I'll do, I'll just type in 10. I'll just take an address. Pass the address. Cool. Because we again got the error. Because we can't pass string. No, we can't pass string to an age because we already defined that the age has to be an unsigned integer only for students in our network. Didn't get that, Hari Krishna? How many of you understood the functionality of the contract, how the logic works? Have you connected those dots which we have at the first? Yes, we can do that. Just do a message dot sender and give an address, but don't directly copy this address, guys. Okay, don't directly copy this address. What I'll suggest, because these have the address is like where it shows an error, like message dot sender. It not work exactly according to our needs. Because it will show us an error. This looks like an address but has an invalid checksum. Okay, see, always I suggest you to, if you are using any address in the contract, to predefine that address in the contract, directly go to Etherscan, copy the address you want to use in the, only the address you want to use that in the contract. Copy this address, paste it here. Cool. The contract has been detected that address. Now, no sign. I mean, we are giving as an input student. Instead, we can assign address to message.sender. Cool. But Teja, you need to think in a way that, suppose if we have a students like 100 students, the contract address, the address of the contract, like the admin has all the powers. So if we even have the data to the, I mean, we need to have some addresses to store in the contract. Why we need to store them in the contract like in a predefined? Suppose if we have an address, we know that every student will have a roll number. So now what we'll do, we'll just give them an address. So instead of storing all the data on the contract, only the owner have every right to that contract, and the students will have a running flow where the students will change from year to year. Some students may leave the school. Some students may some students may take the TC and go to the another schools. Okay, to taking all the consideration, it's better we don't store all the values like the addresses of the students predefined in the contract. Is that clear, Tesai? Cool. Please, guys, quickly raise the hands fast. I need all the replies, all the responses now. How many of you understood the contract? After getting the response, I'll just give a quick overview of today's class. Yes, I mean, most of the people have asked me to try to give a recap of all the session. I mean, the session what we do today. I mean, sorry, every day, to have a quick recap. Now, see, I'll just give a quick recap what we have did today. Okay, so now the main goal, I mean the main theme what we have today is to learn the functionalities, how the mapping will done, how mapping will help us in the executing and help us in the contract, how the event and emit works, and how we will store the address, I mean how we will store data to single key, and how we will retrieve the data using that key. Okay, so now the first and foremost, we need to require the structure, solidity version, name of the contract, then the structure. Here we need to define the structure of a student, where we need to store the what the structure is nothing but like what are the details which we want to store in the structure, like the name age comes under to a structure to a student. Okay, name we are giving it as a string, age we are giving it as unsigned 256 page. Then after the structure we have created a student, we have created one student where we can pass like name and age to that student. Okay, a structure is created in a contract. We are telling the contract that we have created a structure. Okay, we will pass data like name and student, name and age. Please store that name and age to that student. Okay, whenever we call that name and I will come to that part next. Next, we are mapping. What does that mean? So, okay, we have created a student that well and good. Now, we need to make sure that we have another idea that whenever I call an address, I need to get the structure. I need to get the structured data. Simply, in other words, whenever I call that address, I need to get the whole structured data, like the student structured data, what he has present in that. So what I'll do, I'll just no, I'll just make sure that I'll just have the address as a key and the student as and the student structure as a value, and telling that I'll store all the details in the student parameter so that the state variable data where I can call the addresses here. Okay, you'll understand in the below flow about the students. Now, so I have got another idea where instead of I can't remember all the addresses at single run. So what I'll do, I just want to store the addresses in an array. So whenever I give the index number, I'll get the address, and using that address, I can retrieve the data. So that's the reason I'm using the address here. I made it as a public so that everyone can call this public address with the index number, and they'll get a address by using that index, and we'll cross check for the details they have entered. Now, so we are in the event. What does the event do? Event and emit is these are the parameters, arguments which are passing to the which are only called after the contract. When the contract is deployed, when the contract is called using the addresses with the contract deployed address, will get the details, I mean the arguments which is passed inside this event. Okay, this function will emit when we call this contract, will get the message.sender name and age of this function whenever we call this. Now next, we have in the set info function, we are creating a input parameter like address, name, and an age. So here what we are doing again is, in the student structure, we are creating another parameter like a student, and we are storing all the details of the student structure to an address, to an in an address. Okay, we are storing all the student structure in an address. The students is nothing but, we have mentioned here, we have given the parameter here. In this parameter, we are calling this we are storing all the structured data within the address. So whenever we call the students, the values which are present in this student students will be assigned to an address. Now next, okay, we have done with the mapping, assigning. Now we need to store the state variables to the structure. We are directly storing the state variables to the structure here with the name and the age. Now next, okay, as I told you before, we have created a student accounts so that whenever we can retrieve that data using index number, we are pushing that address so that whenever I give an index number, I'll get that address. Now, the final and the foremost thing, the function getInfo. So here the getInfo is nothing but the when we are passing the address, what we need to get, yes, we are just mentioning the index number to get the -1. So that make sure we are storing that in the index number at 0. So next, we are making sure that when we call the address, the function has to return the name and the age here, with from where it has to return the name and the age, from the student's address. Here also we are calling the address. In this address, we have stored the name. See, we have stored all the details of the structure of the student here in the student's address. So we are calling it again here. Student address. In the student address, we have a name. In the student address, we have an age. So we are calling it here. I mean, we are returning this value so that these values are stored in the, when we call this address, these values are being written. Is that clear, guys, how we are returning the getInfo? Give me a fast response. Everyone, Cool. Now, and the final and the foremost, count students. So this will show us how many, how length of that array. So how many students have been registered till now. Is that clear, guys? The contract has been done. We have got to know the functionalities like how the mapping does, what is how the public arrays works, I mean the addresses, how the event emit works, how we can assign an address to a value. Okay, sorry, how we can address I mean how we can store call the data from and store the values to that address, and how we can get the data when we are calling that address. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear, guys? Cool, cool. Yeah, I'll just tell you. Great. We have a emit with a name deposit. So when we this event and emit will use for the external purposes. Okay, don't worry. This is this contract is wrote in a perspective for the dApp development. You'll get to know why we are emitting those only those values, like a set info values like a name, age, why we are exactly emitting those. Okay, these are called externally by an external person when the contract is live. Is that clear, Krishna Swarup? Yes. So guys, I'll just give a I'll just tell you the today's assignment. Guys, listen carefully. Yesterday we have did a great job. I need much more responses from today. I'll just consider, don't worry, I'm taking every response. I'm just considering. You can still see this response. I mean, most of the people have suggested to take a recap. I'll just take consideration of all the things. I have read some I mean, that's the reason I have used event and emit and the mapping, and most of the people have faced issues with this. So that's the reason I took this contract. And one more thing, yes, today's assignment is yesterday you have took two contracts from the net and you have did a very good job. But today, guys, listen carefully, guys. Today you have an assignment that take any two problems of your own. This problem has to be unique for yourself. Take any two problems of your own, even it's a small, even it's a big, even it's a moderate or a medium. Don't worry of the level. I only worried about take two problems of your own. Okay, I'll just make another Google form for today. Take the any two problems of your own. Try to solve that problem using the contract. Okay, I just don't want to make sure to restrict the assignment to only for all the people for only for that problem. Okay, I want everyone to go to, I mean, most of you people know the problems you faced around your surroundings. Okay, take any two problems of your own, just try to solve those problems. Even it's a small, big, even assigning a name is a not problem, but take a problem statement and solve that problem using the contract. You'll get to know that how we can solve the problems in a practical way using the smart contract. Is that everyone understood that? Guys, everyone understood that? Yes. Guys, I all want you to be more get the learning experience. Okay, this is how you learn the things, where solving the problems is where the developer has more capabilities. Okay, take any two problems of your own. Okay, don't take the problems which are don't directly take the contracts which are already present. Take any problem of your own if you want to solve with the contract. Yes. See, Manoj, now suppose I want to, I'll just give a small example. I want to transfer a data. I have in my account, I have 100 rupees. Okay. I want to transfer the data to a specific address to my friend, which is already predefined, so that if I transfer the data like a 50 rupees, my amount has to be detected and show me the remaining balance, and the amount which I have transferred has to be reflect on the my friend's wallet. It's one of the problem, like a basic scenario, so that you'll get the you'll understand the flow. Understanding the flow, understanding the things we can do with the contract is important. Okay, how we are solving that problem. If you are driven, if you are more into the solving the problem scenario, get to understand more about the programming, how we'll do the things. Is that clear, guys? Try to write the address in the constructor. Today, is it excited to have an assignment like this, like to solve the problems of your own, taking the consideration of 2 problems of your own? Tell me, guys, if you have any problem. Guys, the blockchain developer have to solve the problems. You have there to solve the problems. Okay. Yes, you'll get that. You'll get that. I'm just letting you know, don't worry about the problem. You'll get to know all the things. Okay. All the blockchain developer has to be driven to solve the problems. Okay. Take any 2 problems, any 2 problem scenario, solve them accordingly. Don't worry, guys. I'm telling you again, don't worry if you didn't solve them. Okay, you will make mistakes. Everything can't be solved in a single day. Everything can't be solved in a single run. But you have to solve them at any time. But make sure that take the problems which you can be solved by today. Is that clear, guys? Try to make sure that you try to solve the problems and move your limits. Is that clear, guys, to everyone? Cool. So you will get the all the details. I'm just winding up the class today for now. I'll just ping the details in the group. Try to be more attentive and giving the response in the Google Forms, and try to explore the problems you face and try to solve those problems in real time with the smart contract. Okay, guys, use your skills, use your theoretical knowledge in a practical way, and try to solve the problems within the code. Is that clear, guys, to everyone? Excited for this task? I'm much more excited from you all, because I'll get to know what are the problems you all are facing in your respective surroundings. So you are open to solve those problems. You can use in developing those dApps. If I found the best problem, I'll just help you all to make it into a dApp. Okay, don't worry about that. Just try to solve the problems. If the problem is more efficient in making into a dApp, you'll definitely have my support in developing a dApp for that. Is that clear, guys? Clear to everyone? Cool. Thanks everyone for your time, and have a great coding. Bye. Have a great day.